in spring, we saw him default back to that Aatrox so many times, so I'm happy that we have a top laner with a bigger pool.
We have plenty of flexibility in the top lane, but ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping into Champion Select here, and Top Esports start things off with a Volibear ban.
Interesting to see, because usually the Volibear, I mean, the only first pick team for the Volibear is JDG. We're seeing that banned away nice and early. The Ashe as well is a big standout for me, because now it feels like for FPX, you ban the Aphelios, or it gives an easy first pick here for Top Esports, and they can go towards this like utility-style mid laner in the Karma and try and set up JackeyLove for success.
The thing that's been interesting to me is that TS have loved going towards the Trundle rather than the Graves, and with the Volibear and Graves ban both coming out, it kind of signals to me that TS can lock down that jungle pick very early on.
Or go for the Syndra that we already talked about. It's a signature for Knight. It's something that all of the best mid laners in the LPL will lean on, and it is a damn good first pick for Top Esports.
I'm actually surprised because there's really no threat that Doinb is going to take this away from you. He doesn't play this champion. It's obviously something you can wait for the second rotation, but obviously Top Esports is showing, hey, we're extremely confident in putting Knight on this champion and he will carry.
It also leaves a little bit open here where you can look to go, okay, we're happy to play this mid lane blind. Now you can start to work in stuff like, hey, well, what's going to be the AD carry lock in here? What's going to be the jungle lock in here for FPX? And you can start to get those counter picks here for the likes of Karsa.
We'll have to see if they can find some counter picks. It's going to be Karma locked in. You assume going towards Doinb in the mid lane. And that does open up things like the carry junglers for Tian.
Yeah, and the thing I love about this is we obviously haven't seen Chris play Karma at all, so I think it's almost 90% certain that this is going to go towards Doinb. And if they do lock in this Olaf, which I'd much prefer to see over the Kindred, it just sets up such a strong early 2v2 against Knight and Karsa, who've probably been the best mid-jungle 2v2 this split.
Yeah, and it's a pretty terrifying prospect, but we aren't going to see what that jungle route is going to be just yet. Karsa will be locked in for LWX in the bottom lane, and now I'm curious to see what we see coming through from JackeyLove, but it's the Ezreal.
I love that we see 30 seconds of deliberation from FPX, and Karsa's like, I'm going to lease in blind, I don't care what I'm up against.
The thing I love about this is he's been all about the Trundle this split, but when TS started making the resurgence in the playoffs, Karsa was picking Lee Sin every game and putting carry performances, and then even the Ezreal, right? This is expected JackeyLove at this point.
This is sheer comfort for Top Esports so far, and also just so happens that they're all really strong champions in the meta right now. The Olaf we were talking about before, though, is locked in for FPX.
It does mean that you're looking here at like Karsa, who can go very aggressive, partner well with this Olaf, a potential to set up for some kind of dive composition here for FPX. But realistically, you have so many people that benefit from this Karma pick right now that it's going to be really difficult for Top Esports to try and play against this heavy engaged style of FPX.
Yeah, and I also think FPX now are set up really well to just get some kind of, generic tank support on 4. It's kind of sad TS just banned out the Nautilus because despite being against the Ezreal pairs well with the Karsa, because this game, top counter pick feels extremely important.
It really does, and FPX well aware of that as they ban that Renekton out. The Volibear already taken off the board, and I'm curious if Khan is going to go for top laner or if they go somewhere else first.
I feel like they're getting rid of picks that do well into Wukong, and they'll just go for Khan trying to pick up this Wukong. It fits so well with the style of composition. You've also got this super heavy play where you can just speed them up, let the Wukong run loose, and set up for LWX and Tian.
The thing that'd be really strange is obviously it opens up to some bad matchups, like the Mordekaiser's still open, 369 love that one, the Jax is still there, and that's been one of 369's comfort champions for a year. So I'd love if they do just lock into Leona here, no reason to show anything, and you already have such a very strong dive composition onto TS.
The pressure is on Top Esports now to select that top lane matchup first. The Ornn was banned away as Jason Renekton, so we could have a bit of a weird one up in the top lane because of the sheer amount of bans that's gone up there. But also, we have to see the support from the side of Top Esports as well. Things like the Thresh still available for yuyanjia.
The thing that's interesting to me is there's really no great blind for top lane open, so maybe TS going to just take this away like Dagda was saying and have a strong engage options, and there it is.
So one thing that we have to talk about is just the sheer power in the mid game that Top Esports have been drafting so far with the Wukong, with ultimates across the board that are exceptionally strong. Ezreal's going to come online in 2 items. Like, they're drafting to fight around the mid game.
I am laughing at yuyanjia, though. He's clearly missing his Yumi. A little bit sad that he can't take it here. But look, I think having some sort of disengaged champion like the Braum could work super well here. I think the Morgana doesn't really do enough. So I think Braum, as we were saying, just pairs super well with what they're trying to do, which is prevent this dive from FPX from coming through.
Yeah, now Khan has a bunch of options you can take into this Wukong, but the Camille, super interesting. It goes with the theme of their comp, just diving onto the backline of TS.
Yeah, I love how there's no thinking there for Khan. He's like, I'm going Camille. This is what I need to do right now. This is how I'm going to beat a Wukong in lane, but it's also how we're going to play around this composition. So, like, I love that when we look at these two compositions, there are very clear-cut styles that you can see unfolding in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. We already set up FPX is going to play this more heavy early game mid-jungle style, and once we get to the mid game, it's all about pretty much every champion running forward on the side of FPX into TS's comp.
And the beauty here as well for FPX is that you kind of got two outlets here. You can go for these super heavy mid-game fights where you can go for this dive, but if the game starts to teeter onto the super late, you can still have Khan go off into a split push role, because at the composition that top esports have, their mid-game is pretty strong as well, so at least having that flexibility with how they want to win out this game on FPX's side.
Yeah, and when I look at TS's comp, I don't think it has any very obvious lanes to play around against what FPX drafted. The mid-jungle 2v2 is going to be quite hard because Karma Olaf is just that strong. You can look top early, try to set the Camille behind, but she's just going to become a ticking time bomb to impact the game later on.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the first 3 picks that came through for top esports, it feels a little bit win lane, win game, right? You got the Lee Sin in the jungle, you got the Syndra in the mid lane as well, and then JackeyLove just on the comfort of the Ezreal. It feels like this is we're just going to get what we're strong on rather than building just a composition and try and set up for a win that way. And that's one of the big strengths that we've seen from top esports across the course of the LPL, especially here in summer. But it's about time that we get this series underway, as it's top esports against FPX, and we've got Knight versus Doinb in the mid lane. This is a matchup for the ages.
FunPlus 加油，小凤凰乘风破浪。FunPlus 加油，滔博加油，滔博加油。
We got our Gyos back and we're ready to get into this one. It's top esports undefeated so far in this season of the LPL, or in this split of the LPL, sorry. And they're up against FPX. They're up against the world champions. And we have a rematch of the MSC finals.
I'm so curious how this mid lane is going to start to come together for top esports, because it feels like, as you said, there aren't many ways for top esports to play this game, but I feel like if they can maybe sneak some early advantages for Knight, they can make something happen. But as you said, it's hard with Tian and Doinb having definitely the stronger pairing in there.
Right, the thing is, Munch will set up, hey, this looks like the kind of comp that would love to get these early ganks off and just start snowballing. But Karma, obviously very good at just neutralizing lane against pretty much any champion, right? You throw out your mantra Q, the wave is cleared. You're much stronger in the 2v2 with the Olaf. Even top lane, which sure you can find advantages early. Obviously, 369 on the Wukong wants to translate into much more of a team fight threat, and not starting off so well for 369.
I feel like that trade in the top lane is just like, look, we're both carry top laners. This is like asserting dominance at the start of the lane.
To be fair, he does have the stone skin and he's got a corrupting potion. So when it comes to effective health, 369 definitely will win out eventually if these trades keep going the same way.
Yeah, and but we do see Khan obviously going with the grasp, which is much more common rune on Camille these days, and is going to have a lot of early laning power as compared to something like the Conqueror, and he's just doing so well.
But 369 getting under 100 HP there in that trade.
And having used another corrupting pot already.
And I think a biscuit as well that just popped in his inventory. So he's gone full in on this sustained game, but we'll have to see how this top lane does start working. I want to start looking at junglers though, because both of them are moving up towards this top side of the map, and we can have a scrap fairly quickly towards that top lane.
JackeyLove's getting real low in the bottom lane. He's sub 100 as well, as FPX are just winning out in straight up 2v2s across the map.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if FPX really want to win out this matchup, the lane they really should take advantage of is bot lane coming out from TS, because we do know that yuyanjia is still that weakest member.
So I do want to quickly talk about the way that these two compositions are going to work in terms of the mid laners. We talked about Knight versus Doinb setting this matchup up, and the Karma wants to roam just like Doinb always wants to roam. Like, where's he going to be going? At what point are we looking towards Doinb impacting the map elsewhere?
Well, that's the beauty, isn't it? He can go both sides. You set up Khan, well, all well and good. Now you've created more dive pressure and also someone who can be this big split pusher, that ticking time bomb that Lyric was referring to. Or you can go bot and just set up super well for these dives.
Yeah, I'd much rather see him go top. We're seeing Tian go top.
We certainly are. 369, he's got his flash available, but he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Tian is here, but TP being channeled by Knight here, but it's way too late.
Ooh.
No, Karsa saves him. Goes down in the end, but they're going to answer the play at very least. Knight will be the one to be gifted this kill over Tian doing his best. Karsa has to come in and kick him in the face.
He tried so hard to give him a double buff, but it not working out in the end. Still 1 for 1 I think feels pretty good, especially with the fact that 369 already had used his TP. So his wave is in a horrible position.
His wave's in a horrible position, plus when you look at this mid lane as well, Doinb got to shove in, so you're losing a bunch of experience tonight, and Doinb even stole away the scuttle.
That is dirty from Doinb right there.
I also want to go back to our conversation about how Doinb should impact the map, because I don't even feel like it's necessarily about looking at how he impacts side lanes, as much it's he should be hovering for Tian to go invade onto neutral objectives, you know, steal away the red and the blue buff, just go up and start an early Drake, and start building that snowball from there. Much more about these, like, skirmishes rather than just hard ganking side lanes.
Particularly through this bottom side, because you've already got LWX and Chris very much in control of this, and you're going to have a lot of dragon pressure that can come through on FPX's side. So if you're setting up for, you know, 3rd, 4th Drake, and you're still having Doinb looking great, Tian can be enabled by the Karma, and LWX and Chris willing to take these fights, that's perfect for FPX.
One thing I do just want to quickly point out is that I set this up as top esports. They've got comfort picks. It's win lane, win game. They're down in CS in every single lane right now. It's not looking that good right now.
Exactly. That's why I actually really like this composition that FPX put together. And, you know, in a way, it's kind of comfort on both sides, because Doinb obviously looking extremely comfortable on this Karma lately. Camille has always been a champion that Khan is known for. And even LWX on the Karsa. I mean, obviously, Karsa was meta last year when he won Worlds, when it was pretty much Karsa and Xayah every game.
It's fairly safe to argue that last year he was the best Karsa in the world. 369 doing a little bit better in these trades up towards the top side, but as I say that, Khan gets a bit of damage back onto him. In the meantime, though, Tian is the one with a big lead in the jungle, and he knows it as he starts off this dragon.
And there's not very much you can do as top esports here. And they're just going to back away. Karsa's already going to start going towards that top side, seeing if he can steal away a few of those camps. But honestly, there's not much left there. Tian has already cleared that side and knows that, look, Karsa's probably going to try and steal away a few of these.
And isn't it interesting that we look at this FPX draft and we're like, hey, this is a really great draft, this is really smart, blah, blah, blah. But actually, each of these individual champions, none of them are like strongest in role right now. None of these are like the big meta champions that everyone talks about.
No, I feel like it's just really strong against what TES drafted.
Khan's in trouble here. Flashes away to safety, but there is no safety against Syndra. You've been outskilled by the Arbor.
And this is why Syndra is, you know, so high priority in this meta, because it doesn't really matter what state of the game we're in. Unless you're a tank, that ultimate's just going to delete you regardless.
It's super interesting, though, to watch how Knight's playing this game. Because we talked about Doinb being the guy who wants to roam, and oftentimes it'll be Doinb who misses waves to go and help these side lanes. But it's Knight now who 2 times in a row has burnt the teleport to get top, lost the wave. Now he's losing more on the mid lane. And that lane dominance, that lane kingdom we set up for Knight isn't the plan here.
Yeah, and I guess it really is a reaction to how FPX have drafted and how they've been playing, right? Because we just saw him lean bot side to cover Tian doing Drake. So it's like, hey, realistically, I'm not going to be able to find a solo kill on this Karma. I'm not going to be able to 2v2 this Karma. How can I set up my team for victory? And with FPX playing so heavily towards bot, it does make sense it'd be towards top side. But anyway, we typically do see TS play much more for 369 rather than JackeyLove and yuyanjia.
Oh, that's for sure. Like, JackeyLove and yuyanjia usually just in farming simulator down to the bottom lane, but I think you're absolutely right, Dagda, in the way that Knight is playing, and it's really interesting when you consider how they played against the Korean teams at MSC as well. They said in an interview, look, we're just going to farm up, beat them in team fights. We're going to play the Korean style and beat the Koreans at it. And now they're going up against FPX. They're like, we're going to play FPX style and beat them at it.
Well, I don't know, because when I look at the way the gold lead is going right now and the CS differences, look, Doinb's super far ahead. You're looking towards that bottom lane as well. LWX and Crisp are in control. And when we get towards this Rift Herald play, with the pushing power LWX and Crisp have, they can shove in bottom lane and move towards that objective a lot faster.
Yeah, and to me, the most interesting thing about these comps and, you know, playing out these potential Rift Herald fights is, for FPX, it's all about LWX. He has to play these fights perfectly. He's the main carry source coming out in these team fights. For top esports, so it's a lot more about how their frontline functions, right? How yuyanjia and 369 do, allowing for Knight and JackeyLove to put off this free damage.
JackeyLove certainly will be able to flourish if they can set him up to do so. And that's one of the nice things that is going the way of top esports when we look at the composition is Tian and Khan are going to want to just dive onto the AD carry. Ezreal definitely one of the most difficult carries to lock down and to close the gap onto.
especially if he's got like a bunch of CC coming through from yuyanjia, you know, the Glacial Fissure just preventing a lot of the follow-up, and I know that won't do too much for Tian and LWX, but still it can prevent a lot of like, Crisp and Khan and Doinb at least following in. And if you can then provide some of that CC, especially for LWX, if he goes in and
Knight does have flash available, has to use it immediately here as Karsa. Does mean he's now going to be alone, and I think he's probably just going to back away from the Herald because Khan's moving down as well. And I don't think this is worth dying for. As Tian steps forward, Sonic Wave onto the Herald. Should be able to finish this one off for the side of FPX though. Nice contest here to make sure that they're the ones grabbing the objective.
Yeah, just great play coming out from FPX. They go and get priority through mid by punishing Knight's roam, has to blow flash. Then it's just very easy for them to hover. And even if 369 had to match, it definitely feels like FPX are just stronger in the top side 3v3 right now.
And I think it's only going to get worse now, because if I'm Tian, I'm looking to accelerate Khan. I want to go up towards this top side, dump this Rift out and all that gold into the side lane split pusher. So even if we get into fights, Khan is super strong, so just works out better. And then we can still play this side lane game if we want. But never mind.
We're going to see the Herald just drop straight in the mid lane here. And I don't know if this is so much about getting gold on Doinb, more about just like trying to get rid of this tower, right? So Doinb is free. 369 tries to all in Khan in the top lane, flashes to try and get the kill, but the shield comes through from the passive, and Khan gets away.
And overall, just really good play from 369. Still nice by Khan to get away, but kind of taking a step back. I like that you mentioned it's more about unlocking Doinb, and I think that's also nice about just taking down mid lane turret in general is the fact that they do have a lot of wave clear coming out from Syndra and Ezreal, so if you don't break that down with something like a Herald, it could be quite difficult to get later on.
See JackeyLove getting a good little bit of damage down in that bottom lane. He is falling behind in CS though, but finishing that Mana Moon will mean that he can start to scale up towards the latest. I mean, honestly, looking at the AD carries, they're the same. They both want 2 items. Neither of them wants to fight anytime soon. Like, they are more than happy to just chill in this bottom lane.
Even in the support matchup, right? It's really hard to do anything. If you're Leona and you want to go in, Braum just puts up a shield, tags you with his passive, and walks away. We're not going to see any 2v2 action anytime soon, if at all this game.
It's going to be more End This Dragon, though. That's what I'm looking at, because, again, Tian is very strong right now. You got Doinb with the completed Themes and Holy Grail as well, who's going to be a super annoying part of FPX's comp for top esports to deal with. But
TP here from Knight as Crisp has to flash away over the wall. Keep your eyes on 369 on the minimap. He's moving down towards the play, and Khan doesn't have TP available. So top esports will grab themselves this Ocean Drake. The question is, how much can Khan answer within the top side?
that's what I was wondering. I thought once 369 had seen that top esports had bullied their way into the pit, he would have just walked away, but doesn't look like you're going to be able to get too much from Khan, as 369 will still make it towards that top side before any plays.
Yeah, just overall great job by TES abusing the bounce back that 369 had on the wave, so he was able to hover first, and Chris quickly realizing, okay, I need to flash out of here. We're not going to die for this.
Oh, there's Khan and Tian all here. Karsa.
Hang on. Knight is meant to be the carrier of this team. He's meant to be the one, but he's getting dived underneath the tier 2 here. Scatter the Weak with an ulti. He's going to survive this one. Khan has to dash away, but yuyanjia exhausts him and will not let him out. There's a knock-up. The stun comes through from the concussive blows. Karsa doesn't have the damage to finish the kill off, though, and now on towards Crisp. The slow's coming on through. They're going to follow up. True shot barrage and a kill for Karsa.
And overall, we said before this game, the FPX are their own worst enemy, and it's showing right here, Dagda.
And it's so heartbreaking because you're like, oh, this could work out. Karsa and Knight turned it around, though. 369 has now been able to get in onto this top side. He's got a bunch of turret plates for himself. And the person you said that we probably wouldn't see much kills going towards Knight, he's 2-0.
Yeah, and overall, it also unlocks the side lanes as well, because we saw 369 getting free reign on that top turret. And honestly, after draft, I was finding it hard to imagine how TS breaks open this game, and well, FPX just gave them the way forward.
Yeah, they just find chaotic skirmishes, and once again, like, how many times this split have we seen JackeyLove ult on Ezreal from the bottom lane and find himself either a kill or game-changing bit of damage that sets the team up for a play?
Well, I think that was both of the bottom laners, right? Because you did see that Ezreal was coming in, but definitely yuyanjia's roam managing to get there a lot quicker than Crisp could. So they end up turning around that 3v2 play and pick up far more as a result as well, because yuyanjia's in the right place at the right time.
The weird thing is, I don't even understand why FPX felt the need to you know, accelerate this game forward. Sure, you can posture for the dive, try to force out that flash, but anything more than that feels like a bit too much. You have good scaling in the Karsa and the Camille. It feels like just waiting for that next neutral objective, like the next Rift Herald, would be fine.
The really crazy thing as well is, like, even though they finished, or even though they almost finished the kill, like, even if you do kill Knight there, you still lose the trade. Like, you're still diving at tier 2 to try and make this happen.
And that's why I thought it was more about, as Lyric said, the posturing, where you just try and force Knight back, then you can actually take down that low mid lane turret. But instead, they end up overcommitting, try to get a bit too much, and it ends up biting them in the long run.
Yeah, and even going forward, I don't feel like this really unlocks any play for TS other than just continuing to have 369 hit this turret, but realistically, the name of the game for TS is still just neutral objectives.
I think the name of the game, honestly, feels like just be better, right? Just win fights through sheer mechanical plays, from just understanding how to play the map, and getting first tower gold on towards 369 really minimizes the lead that Khan had.
Wait, Munchable, so are you saying that TS have the power to force FPX to dive them? Are you saying they have the power to, like, mind
The
control?
mind power, yeah.
Yes, that is precisely what I'm saying. I am the scriptwriter after all. This is the dive onto Knight.
This was super well played by Karsa as well, like making sure that he's consistently getting the damage down but keeping Knight alive at the same time. And yuyanjia's roam here was perfect, and even though Chris does make it, unfortunately with how deep FPX had gone, it means that yuyanjia's able to get there quicker, and there's the difference.
It's like, even without the follow-up, even if they kill Knight, it's 1-for-1 at best. And then there's follow-up from top esports as well, so it becomes just 2-0, which, I mean, it's a disastrous play for FPX.
Exactly, and even moving forward now, I really like that we see 369 picking up the Tiamat, because with the fact that they also got top turret, opens up the play of just continuously, you know, pushing out that wave, hovering mid, which frees up Knight to go look for a play bot or even a gank onto Doinb.
It also makes it really difficult for FPX to try and hold off against, say, the likes of this dragon that's about to come up. Because it's 369, you shove in that top wave. If you've already got that teleport burned, well, cool, you can just move 369 down, or whoever that is positioned in that top lane, to fight for these dragons. And it's really difficult for FPX to try and respond with a man down.
They could try and make a dive in this bottom lane, though. Is yuyanjia the target? Well, goodbye, yuyanjia. That is some damage out of LWA.
You know, the thing I actually love about that play as well is not only the actual dive, but the fact that FPX are covering both sides of the map as well, since Tian is up here on the top side, and we see Khan hovering for mid. I mean, Khan is mid now, actually.
Khan is mid. And when we look at the items as well, Doinb already with 2 items. He's got the sensor as well as that Athene's Unholy Grail, which is exactly what you and I were talking about last game, Dagda. But when it comes to tower plates, we're about even here.
It's not going to make too much of a difference. It's more, and I think that's what we want to see, is more that this is about how both these teams interact with each other around the map. Because right now, it has been super back and forth. But looks like, again, LWX and Chris isn't really any sort of play on this bottom side, and they'll just get this turret for themselves.
Nicely done here. Obviously, they got the kill onto yuyanjia earlier, and it means JackeyLove just has to completely respect everything. Back away. And now the rest of top esports trying to make plays towards the top side of the map, because Herald's going to be spawning again very shortly.
Yeah, but once again, as Dagda pointed out earlier, the fact that FPX's bot lane is winning so hard, they can just start roaming towards this top side first. So ultimately, it shouldn't even out into TS securing an objective. And it felt like TS's only opportunity was if they could have set up a gank onto Khan, you know, a few minutes ago. But the fact that Khan was hovering mid while the bot dive was happening meant that there actually wasn't even a window to set up onto Khan.
And it's not like they're going to be able to crack open this bottom lane turret either. You can already, well, I was seeing LWX hover for a little bit. Crisp now moving in to join him. So potential here for top 2.
Whoa.
Try and make a play.
I don't know how Karsa gets away without even getting stunned there. Just like pokes his head in. Oh, there's a Leona. I'm out of here. See you later. In the meantime, Dragon's up in 30 seconds now.
Yeah, and it looks like, once again, FPX might just concede by going for this heavy push in topside, which I still feel like is fine at this point. It is only a Cloud Drake, and you are getting more gold on the Khan, who's only going to continue to win out really hard in these side lanes. And with all the turrets going down on side lanes, you have extremely long lanes for Khan to punish 369 in.
Yeah, and that's what I really like here, is that they've now got the ability for Khan, who's going to finish his Triforce, work very quickly towards that Ravenous Hydra, and just start beating out 369.
They're making a play in the mid lane as well. Damage onto Doinb, but he walks out with his life. Unleashed power is still available for Knight here, so you have to be cautious in these fights as to how that's going to be panning out. But the Herald will get a second charge. And with Khan here on the Camille, they might be able to finish off the tower. 369 trying to contest. Stun goes wide, and it means Tian can step forward once again. Tier 2 taken by FPX.
Yeah, because Karsa and JackeyLove had committed towards that dragon, so it means that you've got the man advantage on top side. And when Top Esports tried to make that play mid, there wasn't quite the coordination of going, okay, we're going for this. 369 went in. yuyanjia is late on the Glacial Fissure, so you don't have the follow-up damage from Knight to try and kill off Doinb and shut down that play.
It also feels like we just aren't at those item break points for TS yet anyway. Ezreal's still only sitting on one item, Syndra as well. And we've already talked about how strong Tian is. Even Khan now is getting to a point where he's extremely strong with that supportive build coming out from Doinb.
We'll have to see how things are going to pan out for Top Esports once they do start to get towards those items that you're talking about, Lyric. Because, you know, we all know what JackeyLove can do on Ezreal. We all know what Knight can do on Syndra. It's about making it happen on the day, and it's yuyanjia. He's being aggressed upon. He's ignited, but the heal from JackeyLove keeps him safe in the end. But ultimately, still great for FPX.
And the thing here for FPX is that usually when Top Esports is starting to mount up quite a few of these dragons that you're like, oh, we got to fight for the soul. Honestly, I'm not that worried about the Cloud Soul here for Top Esports side, so if I'm FPX, I'm not willing to go into these fights if I think we'll lose. Instead, just continue to let Khan play out through these side lanes, and then only really get threatened if a Baron play is happening from Top Esports.
And it's worth mentioning here that when it comes to the gold, when it comes to the dragons, everything is just about neutral here, if not slightly Top Esports favored. This lead that we're talking about is very much to do with the compositions that we're seeing on the screen, the way that the game can be played.
It really comes down to map pressure, right? Because despite the fact that gold is actually ahead on TS's side, FPX has been firmly in control of the map for the past, like, 5 minutes.
And they're going to maintain that control as they try and siege down in this bottom lane tier 2. They're going to be recalling, though.
You say that, though, but 369 is on this top side. Only LWX is backed yet, so he can actually put some pressure there up himself.
Yeah, he'll be able to clear these waves. I don't think he's going to be able to find a tier 2 or anything crazy like that because we saw FPX have recalled, but ultimately good pressure from 369 to make sure something's happening for top.
At the same time, though, right, you are Wukong, so we know realistically he's not going to really be able to get much turret pressure down. Just overall, FPX making a play on the opposite side of the map, saying, hey, it's fine if 369 pushes a few waves. We really are looking for 369 and TS to impact team fights. It's really going to take a big 3-4-man Cyclone coming out from 369.
Worth mentioning, though, we've been talking about the item spikes. They've now been hit by JackeyLove. He's got his Muramana, and he's got his Iceborne Gauntlet, and we could have a team fight to follow suit on that one. Doinb takes a chunk. But it looks like FPX not willing to commit to the play. Only Solar Flare and Mantra used.
Knight was a little bit out of position, so Top didn't want to try and go overly aggressive there. And not able to follow up either, because there's no real objectives here that they can try and force a fight while Crisp has that ultimate down, but we are just going to see everyone back away.
I love how Doinb is going full support this game as well. He's even got that redemption as well as the Sensor and the Athene's Unholy Grail. So just accepting that he is not the damage dealer for the team.
I mean, I guess to be fair, right, you have a Camille and a Karsa, so you don't even need to be a damage dealer. Surprisingly that Tian didn't go with the Warriors build Olaf when Doinb was going to go this extremely supportive route, but I also do think it makes sense in terms of their composition because just having more frontline, it feels like they are going to have more guaranteed DPS later on. And it actually feels really hard for TS to run forward into FPX's comp. And you could say, okay, well, they have an Ezreal, they have poking elements, but you also have a ton of shielding coming out from Doinb, and poke also coming out from him as well. Yeah,
especially if 369's off in the side lane and he's trying to deal with Khan. Like, who are you realistically looking at here to be that engage tool then for Top Esports to try and start things off? You're relying on Karsa to get some massive insect play, or for a flash forward from yuyanjia to try and kick things off.
If there is anyone who could make, some kind of massive game-changing play, it is Karsa.
So what was the conclusion here is that Top Esports' best way of engaging a fight is FPX. FPX are the engage tool for Top Esports at this point. If Top Esports can find themselves that fight. But now they're moving in towards this mid lane, because bear in mind, Dragon's up in 50 seconds.
And overall, though, FPX's comp does want to run in, so that is a fine way for TS to play.
Oh, JackeyLove could be in trouble. Solar Flare is not going to be enough, and Crisp is low. Has to use the stopwatch, but it blocks Knight's ultimate. True Shot Barrage is going to be not really enough as they try and get onto Tian now. Ragnarok forced out. But this is a lot of cooldowns right before Dragon.
I'm surprised to see 369 commit that teleport. FPX had already started to back away. Top could have done the same, and then you still have the teleport to put pressure in the side lane, but I mean, they end up trying to take this fight as FPX have already run for the hills.
Well, and this is actually great for TS, though, because FPX have already blown most of their tools to get on top of TS. Ragnarok's already down for Tian. The ultimate's already down from Crisp. So now TS are in a position where they actually can just sit in front of FPX and just play a poke and siege game.
So what you're saying is neither team has engaged tools anymore. Well, I'm wrong there, because everybody goes straight up to 369. And that is monkey business in a nutshell. Now onto the rest of top esports. There's 4 of them remaining. The slows won't land, but Khan doesn't care. Goes straight into the back line, and there's the follow-up as well. Flash away, though. Doinb flashes for a Q. Not sure if that one was optimal, but they're going to be able to get away with this one. JackeyLove dodges the stun and evens up the fight.
And it's when FPX have committed literally everything that they have now, it's really hard for them to lock down top esports. And if you're running into an Ezreal, into a Syndra, it is so easy for them to land that poke, and Khan's the one to play.
And let's remember that FPX could have just turned off once they killed 369 and went straight for this dragon and tried to pull TS into them. Sure, they are against an Ezreal, so there is still some more poke damage coming out. Knight has been doing quite well as well, but could have set you up for an easier time to get on top of TS and force that fight.
Worth mentioning as well, in the meantime, while all of this is going on, there is a monumental wave that has been dying to the tower in the bottom lane. So FPX losing out there. They were really worried that top had just started that Baron.
Yeah, but top have already backed away. Again, this is where we're starting to see, okay, if FPX are able to get these big engage off, especially with 369 separated there, they can look really, really good. And now Khan is very quickly starting to gain these items that he really wants, actually foregoing what looks like the Ravenous Hydra instead, and potential to go for the Death Stance here.
I feel like the thing that's really important to note as well is FPX's comp needs to be able to get off a coordinated engage onto TS, right? We need to see Tian be able to run with the Ragnarok at the same time Khan is coming with the flank, but also potentially setting up for LWX to go in as well. We didn't get that last time around, and if that first initial engage fails, it actually feels like the fight is in a much better position for TS to just follow up, re-engage, put down that damage with the Braum slows coming out as well.
And we just saw that, right? Where FPX couldn't get the... Oh, yuyanjia!
Yuyanjia steps forward, but he is pretty tanky. Might be able to get away with his life here. Knockups across the team. JackeyLove is the bravest Ezreal I've ever seen. Just standing right in the face of FPX and getting out with his life. Ultimately, yuyanjia burns his ult, and that's it.
Still, though, this doesn't look quite like it's over. You do have Khan, who's got back towards bot side, but does have teleport available, as top are trying to put siege potential here, but the wave clear is too strong from FPX.
Yeah, we're going to reset once again. This is definitely a slower pace of game than what we saw in our first series of the day, but it feels like appropriate pacing, right? It feels like this is calculated.
The weird thing is the fact that like, the playmaking attempts have not been slow, right? We've seen FPX consistently try to look for plays. Just TS are so good at dissuading them, kiting back, making sure that even if Chris finds a good engage, that the rest of the members of FPX can't follow up, and it's really led to this low-kill game. And I think it goes back to that conversation that TS do have a lot of players that are top 3 mechanically in their role, and that they're probably the smartest team in the LPL right now.
Especially with JDG looking so lackluster, but I will happily give that title to top. The thing, though, that I'm a bit worried about is that this is where the games start to get a little bit shaky for FPX. In situations like this is where they will start to make these strange calls, getting caught out in weird positions. So I want to see now, when we're talking about how strong their composition is, how many different scenarios they have where they can take the victory here, if they can just find that smooth sailing to bring them across the line.
The thing that's interesting to me is the fact that both 369 and Knight have pretty massive CS leads that pretty much came out of nowhere with, again, not necessarily them outplaying their counterparts, but more of FPX trying to make some pretty unneeded plays.
It's like FPX are moving around the map to try and answer top esports who have started the Baron.
Without 369, he doesn't have teleport, so this just feels like let's try and pull Khan into this and see if we can get that teleport out.
Trying to force the teleport out of Khan. They're going to be able to clear the vision at very least and continue to threaten this play right here. You can see Khan staying in the base. He wants the home guards for when he TPs in here. yuyanjia blocks a lot of damage, and Karsa's just going to keep this Baron going until the teleport is committed. Khan's now arrived, and as soon as that happens, you see top esports back away.
Khan is still looking to try and make it, though.
Oh, there's a knockup out of 369 who wants to go for the fight right here. Tian's in trouble as he has to back away. Knockup only onto Doinb, though. And in goes Karsa. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty right there. Karsa goes way too deep, though. Follows up his beautiful kick with a little bit of Lee Syndrome.
And we did say if there was anyone who's going to make some big highlight play on Lee Sin, it was going to be Karsa. That was a really confusing sequence of events coming out from FPX with Khan going so far forward. And I guess ultimately ending up in a 1-for-1 with both teams making some mistakes.
And that's the thing, is that like Top Esports, they just killed Doinb. They could have turned away, everything had been wasted by FPX, go towards the Baron, bait them in, and then either try and find the fight again or just take the Baron. Instead though, they end up going too far and gift over more, and this fight here was super just a little bit sketchy, to be honest, because 369 is the only one that's on the right side of the wall. Yes, the team can follow eventually, but they can't quite kill off Khan before he manages to escape. This fantastic kicks from Karsa to get onto Doinb, and this is where I'm like, right, turn towards Baron. You know Khan's low, he's just used TP. Tian is out of that fight as well. You can take the Baron, but Top Esports with a mistake there.
Yeah, Karsa going a little bit deep for that one. We can have another fight here because Chris doesn't have flash available, stunned up, and JackeyLove certainly has the damage to follow up here. Tian getting a slow, but they're going to continue to push on towards Crisp here. Unleash power, true shot, barrage. Crisp will not get away. 369 flashes for the kill.
And the difference to me here in a lot of these fights is the fact that TS are just so willing to pull the trigger right when any sort of misstep by FPX is made.
Straight on towards the Baron here. The Scuttle Crab is just collateral damage for Top Esports. Doinb's here. Tian has flash. He can go for a steal.
369 does have Cyclone still up.
They're just looking for a fight right here. Khan stunned. Scout of the Week won't be able to follow up though, and Karsa keeps the Baron interested in the meantime as 369 gets onto Tian. They're just zoning away because in the oh, what? LWX goes for the play on his own right here. Can't finish anyone off, but everybody from Top Esports is exceptionally low. They realize they cannot commit to this anymore.
I wasn't sure if Tian was just going to flash the wall to keep Baron still leashed, but instead they go, no, we're going to back off, we're going to shove in mid, take the Dragon. But Top Esports taking so much damage trying to bait this objective and not finding the fight they want.
This is so intense between these two teams, Larry.
I just love that this game is going to come down to some team fight where it really is coming down to like mechanics and execution, who gets caught out, who's willing to step forward. And I mean, pretty much every time it's always been TS. We're willing to, you know, we know JackeyLove's going to E forward on the Ezreal, 369 flashing forward.
I mean, you say that. LWX giving JackeyLove a run for his money in that fight because that was a very aggressive killer instinct.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want to see when you have someone on a Kai'Sa looking for these big plays. And now, okay, FPX on Soul Point, we potentially could see TS get the next one, but definitely feels a lot more impactful with these teams just picking up these individual Cloud Drakes, but TS just keep going towards baiting out this Baron.
And the thing is, FPX are starting to get some of these core items. You can see in the bottom of your screen there, you got the Nashor's Tooth now finished for LWX. Khan is very much underway as well with his build.
Worth mentioning that it's 369 with TP this time as Crisp caught once again, goes into the fight because he knows that he's already gone down on this one, but Doinb's caught, kicked back by Karsa as he couldn't quite kick him into the team. And then goes Khan onto the likes of Knight, but he survives after everything. And this is all going the way of Top Esports. Doinb barely lives, but no, he doesn't. JackeyLove's having none of it as he finds himself a triple.
And that was beautiful from Top Esports. They bait the fight at Baron, but they take it well into enemy territory. FPX, they don't have anything left. The Baron is going to go to Top Esports.
And it was just so beautiful to see, too, that TS understood, hey, we're going to use our pressure in top and mid, go into the enemy jungle, get the vision down, and kind of disappointed by Chris face-checking and trying to see where TS are, especially when we could see that Doinb does still have that scrying orb, so could have easily checked if TS were on Baron.
369 is going to get 1v1'd here. Khan happy to go for the play. You know that he wins that one. He's on the Camille, but 369 kind of matching him for now at least as Crisp comes in. How is he going to actually find the kill? 2v1 from 369, and now Crisp realizes he's once again caught out, has to get on out of there.
So well played by 369. I doubted him the entire way through that. I should not be a 369 non-believer.
This game was so insane because it was so close for like 25 minutes until it wasn't. Now it looks like FPX are just going to get shut out.
Welcome to the Top Esports games.
JackeyLove might have stepped too far forward though. He's going to be the one to go down. LWX keeps himself safe with the stopwatch. And now the chase from FPX. They're looking for Karsa next. Crisp gets the Zenith Blade. There's an axe to follow it as well. LWX has so much damage. Crisp barely surviving, but survive he does. As yuyanjia and Knight need to be careful, but here comes 369. He's found one. Cyclone available if he can get onto LWX. That's easier said than done.
Now they're going to back away, but we said welcome to Top Esports. They make games explode out of nowhere, and then JackeyLove every so often likes to let himself explode, which is kind of what we saw in that case. But FPX now, they've got the potential to push in mid here.
Yeah, they potentially might just only be able to get this turret. Actually, probably going to have to back off. We see 369 is coming around. He still does have Cyclone available.
Oh, he's going to find LWX. Surely here finds the knock-up onto two of them. This is huge. 369 has put this game on his shoulders right now, and Top Esports look dominant.
Nines in the chat only, please, right now, because oh my word, is the top laner popping off here.
And that was just FPX misjudging and kind of disrespecting the backs coming out from the side of TS, because they knew 369 was up. They knew yuyanjia was up. Very easy for them to just get back on the map, and both LWX and Tian are punished.
And now they can start this siege as well. You've got Baron, you've got this potential to really push in here, and a lot of poke as well from JackeyLove and Nice.
And 369 already on the bottom side of the map right now, looking for a tier 2. Is yuyanjia happy to tank this one up for a couple of shots as the rest of the team muscles into the base here. And Top Esports, after such a tense early game, have just flipped everything on a dime, forcing Khan away. Mid and hip goes down. Top Esports, they're going to be happy with that.
And it feels like, again, these games just slip away from FPX right at the end. A lot of that, as we talked about, you know, them trying to make too many plays, falling behind when it came to CS, when it came to build paths, and then as well, face checking into these Baron fights that have just netted so much more for Top Esports.
The thing I love, too, is the fact that TS realized, hey, we're on comfort. We have confidence that we can kite out the initial engage from FPX, and then we will have the tools to play these fights better. And that's what they've done all game, right? They've always kited out the initial engage coming out from Crisp. They always got Tian to blow his Ragnarok, so he was never able to run Knight down, and that's how they got this lead.
And it feels like now even that, you know, that ticking time bomb that we talked about in Con, that potential to be a sideline split pusher isn't a factor anymore. He's so far ahead in gold that that extra sterics gauge, the XFBF sword, the Tiamat as well, is going to do so much work against Con.
And he's looking for a way into the back of the fight. Once again, he has his flash, he has Cyclone, and he's on to LWX. But Killer Instinct to the back. It's JackeyLove that's in trouble. He's the one that's taken down. 369 can't do enough damage, but he finds Doinb for himself. Maybe he has the damage after all, because they've somehow turned this fight on its head. Crisp once again taken down. Khan cannot. Oh, yeah, he can. He's getting over the wall here. Blast code as well.
Cavalry.
He's a Camille. He's out of there. But you know what? His base is in trouble.
And overall, this fight just showed us how far ahead 369 is. It doesn't matter if LWX goes into the fight. TS are just too far ahead for it to matter.
This has been such a ridiculous win here for Top Esports. JackeyLove getting caught out to start the fight, but they don't care. Straight on towards the base now as Khan gets on towards Knight, has to try and finish off the Syndra. It doesn't quite have the damage. The stun comes through, and this Braum pick paying dividends for Top Esports on towards the base. And game number 1 in 35 minutes.
It was a close fought early game.